All right, welcome to tonight's lesson. So in this lesson, we'll just be discussing the course content of statics. Yeah, so those that have joined us late, I'm going to repost the videos you have missed out. I talked about the timetable, the days we're going to be meeting, and the time. So we're always going to be meeting at 20 hours. Yeah, so we'll always be starting from 20 hours to 21. It's only 1 hour per day. And we'll be meeting 4 times in a week because we have 4 courses that we're going to be learning. So one of the courses that we'll be learning will be statics. And this is just a course outline for statics. So I'm just going to run through it. It's a very long course, which requires most of your time. This is one of the courses that a lot of people fail in engineering. Yeah, so I'm not going to beat the bush. I'm not going to lie to you. You need to put in your effort. This is just like, okay, let me say, whatever that you learned in physics is a foundation. If you said physics was hard, this is a foundation of, physics was a foundation of this course. Yeah, so if you never understood physics, I'm not saying if you never, okay, let me not say if you never understood physics, it would be hard for you to take this course. No, it's going to be easy because you go through it 2 times. Yeah, because you're going to learn this course during the holiday. And also when you open, meaning the time you'll be opening, everything that you learn during the holiday will just be like a revision to you. It will only be hard to those people that will encounter these things for the first time, because the physics that you learned in your first year is, okay, let me say it's the foundation of this course, meaning all those principles that you are learning, you're going to be applying them to solve questions for this course. Yeah, so this means that you have to always be submitting exercises. If I give you an exercise, if I give you a quiz or a test, so I'm going to be doing everything just exactly as they do them at school. Yeah, I'm going to be giving you exercises, quizzes, and even tests. Yeah, so, and for me to motivate you guys, whenever I give a test, I always give a reward. The highest, the highest and the second highest will always go, they always go away with a certain amount. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you the amount. Those that have had lessons with me, I'm sure they will tell you. Yeah, so just ensure that you are always attending the lessons. When I say we're going to be meeting at 20 or 21, if there's any changes in time, please ensure that you attend all the lessons. The way statics is, when you miss one class, it will be hard for you to understand the next class. So make sure that you are always attending classes for statics. Yeah, I'm emphasizing this, and I'm emphasizing this because I know what statics is, and I know what it takes for you to take a course called statics in engineering. If you think what I'm telling you is a lie, you can try to ask your seniors. They'll explain everything to you. Me, when I'm teaching, I always like telling the truth. I don't want to tell you that this course is simple, and then at the end of the day when you fail, you come and say, no, Harmtedy, you said this course was simple. So I wasn't even studying it that much, but look at the results that I've gotten. Yeah, it's simple to those that study and to those that know how to study. Yeah. Okay, so let's quickly go through the course content. All right, so I'll start first by introducing this part here. So this is also a very important part. Of course, as I'm going to be offering these lessons, they are not going to be for free. Yeah, this class, this lesson, okay, let me not call it a lesson. This introduction is simply for you to see how I present my work, how I teach, how I explain. Every time there's a question to solve, I'll make sure that everyone understands. And every time I give an exercise, if there's anyone who has not understood, I'll make sure that they understand. I'll either use WhatsApp, YouTube, or any other social media platform that is okay for that particular student, just to make sure that you understand. Yeah, so the charges are simple. It's not something that I would say people can fail to raise. It's just 100 kwacha per month. Yeah, so this 100 kwacha is only for one course. So if you want to take all the 4 courses, it means that you have to pay 400. If you only want 2 courses, it means that you have to pay 200. If you only want 1 course, it means that you are only going to pay 100 kwacha. And this 100 kwacha is only for a month. Yeah, so if you want to send the money, you can simply use these lines on the screen. Yeah, so you can simply use these lines on the screen. If you are not in Zambia, you can simply inbox me. I'll give you my account details that, I'll give you an account that is able to transact with international an account that is able to make international transactions. Yeah, so, or we can use, forgotten the name. All right. Yeah, so these are the accounts that you're supposed to use to deposit the money. Once you make the deposit, you send me the screenshot on WhatsApp. I'll add you to a new group. If you are only taking statics, I'll add you to a statics group. If you're only taking mathematics, I'll add you to a math group. If you're taking both statics and math, I'll add you to both statics and the math group. Yeah, so in other words, I'm going to form 4 different groups. Like I said, you're supposed to take 5 courses, but I think drawing, I'm going to help you out with the drawing for free. That's if I'll manage to look for the instruments that I need to conduct such classes. Yeah, so if I manage to find the instruments, I'm going to give you the drawing course for free. And then the other 4 courses, I'm going to be charging 100 kwacha per course. Yeah, so sorry for taking most of your time explaining on this, but it is also important. All right, so let's quickly move on to the course content for statics. Okay, so we are going to first start by discussing the general principles of statics, meaning we're going to start with mechanics, fundamental concepts, the units of measurements. These are the things that you did in physics. Yeah, the international system of units, numerical calculations, general procedure for analysis. Yeah, so the last part here is very important. This is where you are supposed to this is one of the classes that you should not miss. Most of these on top, you did them in physics. So these will just be a revision. And I think I'm not going to take a lot of time explaining them, but I'll give you exercises to ensure or to simply test if whether you understood or not. And I'll also explain during the lessons. All right, let's quickly move on. Okay, so the next chapter is going to be chapter 2, and this will just cover force vectors. So these vectors are the same vectors that you did in mathematics. The same vectors that you did in physics are the ones that are going to combine math and physics. We put them together. But of course, when teaching, I'm not going to be lecturing. I'm going to be teaching. I'm sure you understand there's a difference between lecturing and teaching. Lecturing will only focus on new concepts. They'll consider that you already know the basics. But for me, I'm always going to be starting with the basics, explain every basic principle, because I know to say basics are the ones that will help you to even break down a complicated question. So without those basics, or if you have forgotten the basics, it will be hard for you to solve difficult, complex questions. Yeah, but for me, I'm going to consider that you have not done physics, and I'll be starting from the basics. It's better we don't finish the syllabus before we open, but it's better we don't finish the syllabus, but ensure that you understand the basics so that it will be easy for you to grasp the concepts when the lecturers will be teaching, or when you open. It will be easier for you to solve questions even without let me not say even without attending lectures. No, it should be attending lectures, but it will be easier for you to understand when the lecturers are teaching or when you're given a question to solve. So chapter 2, we're just going to cover force vectors. And under force vectors, we will look at scalars and vectors, vector operations, vector additions, look at addition of system of coplanar vectors. You understand what a coplanar vector is. Look at Cartesian vectors, addition of Cartesian vectors, position vectors, force vector directed along the line. And then we'll also look at the dot products of vectors. All right, so chapter 3, we're going to look at the equilibrium of particles. And under equilibrium of particles, we're going to look at the condition of equilibrium of particles, and then we'll look at these up to 3-dimensional force systems. Yeah, so chapter 4, we're just going to discuss force system of force system resultants. Yeah, so these you did in physics, but I'm going to consider that you didn't do them in physics. You never did them in physics. And I'll make sure that I start with the basics. I'll explain everything, how to resolve forces given a certain structure. Yeah, so how to calculate the resultant forces. Yeah, so we're going to discuss all those things. Yeah. Then we'll discuss that up to the reduction of simple distributed loading. So I'll even explain what it means when a given system or a given beam has distributed loading. So I'll explain all those things and how to resolve the forces on that. Okay, so chapter 4 just discussed the equilibrium of a rigid body. So this one is also one of the important topics, and this will also help you in dynamics. So dynamics, let me say statics is simply a course that deals with particles that are not moving, hence the word static. Yeah, so particles that are not in motion. And then in semester 2, you are going to have a course that is known as dynamics. So dynamics would deal with particles that will be in motion. So everything that we're going to learn in statics rather, you are going to learn them in dynamics. But in dynamics, you're going to have the same particles, but this time around they are going to have, they are going to be in motion. Okay, so let's quickly move on. So equilibrium of a rigid body, this is one of the important topics in statics. If you don't understand this topic, it will be hard for you to understand dynamics. Okay, so from chapter 5, we're going to move on to structure analysis. So this is where we are going to learn about frames and mechanics. You're going to learn about trusses. I'm sure you guys have seen those things that are in the roofs when they are when they are roofing a house. There are those things that let me try to draw something here. Okay, so that I've not connected my pen, but every time I'm learning, I'm going to be connected. I'm going to be connecting my pen. Hence, writing and solving will be easier. All right, I wanted to draw a structure that I was talking about, but unfortunately, the pen is not anywhere close to me. Okay, let me do this. Yes, do this. All right. So I'm sure you guys have seen things like this in the roofs when they're roofing a house. So you've seen something like this, huh? Yeah. So they are in different shapes. Sometimes you see them like this. Then you have something like this. I don't know. They are just in different shapes. Okay. This is just, yeah. So in statics, they'll ask you to calculate the forces that are maybe you can even have something like this down here. In statics, they will ask you the forces that are in each of these components. In this component here, in this member, they are called members, by the way, in this member, in all the members of this structure, they'll ask you to find the forces that are in each of these members. So that falls under space stresses. Yeah, so we'll also learn about the method of sections. And then we'll also learn about the zero force members. Yeah, so learn about the method of joints. So if you can check here, we have joints here. So how do you resolve forces on a joint? We're going to learn that here. It's also very important for those that are going to be doing civil engineering. So it's very important, not only civil, actually even mechanical. Those that will be doing mechanical and civil engineering, this topic, this is your food. You have to make sure that you know. You don't have to master this. You have to know it by heart, how to resolve forces in a given structure. All right, so let's move on. So apart from that, we're going to learn about internal forces. So these same trusses that I talked about, they have what are known as internal forces. So we are going to discuss that. That's in chapter 7. Yeah, so this is also a very simple topic, more especially if you have known how to resolve forces in structures, different. I mean, using these different methods here. All right, so this is a simple topic. Just need to know structure analysis. So structural analysis, for those that are doing civil engineering, it's a course on its own. Yeah, so structural analysis will be a course for those that are doing civil, and that should be, I think it should be in third, if not fourth year. Yeah, so internal forces, for those that are doing mechanical engineering, you find this not really a course, but it will be part of it should be mechanics of materials. Yes, it's going to be part of mechanics of materials, but it's going to be broad there. You learn about a lot of things there. Okay, and then apart from that, we're going to discuss friction. So friction, you did this in physics, and I expect us not to have challenges on solving questions pertaining friction. Yeah, so this is also a very simple topic. We just need to focus on on certain specific points. Yeah, but most of the things you've covered them in physics. Then we'll discuss the center of gravity and centroids. So you also did this, but this will be a bit more detailed than what you did in physics. Yeah, moments of inertia, you did this, though for physics it was just on the surface. This time around we'll go deep. Then in chapter 11, we'll look at virtual work. Yeah, so virtual work, this one I'm not going to say you did it. Let me not lie that you did it in physics. But I don't know, maybe you did it. Yeah, there's some lecturers who are good at teaching. They even go as far as teaching this topic. Yeah, they will introduce you to this topic. It's also a simple topic that we are going to cover together with those that are going to be with us. Okay. All right, so we are going to end at virtual work. So virtual work will be our last topic for statics. And starting from chapter 12, the same book that we're going to be using for statics, starting from chapter 12, going up, that's now dynamics. Yeah, so chapter 1 up to 11 is called statics in that book. And then starting from chapter 12, going up, that's now called dynamics. So I'm going to share all the materials for those that are going to, with those that are going to be in the respective groups. So I'm going to be sharing materials, exercises, and every other thing that you need to have for you to take these courses in those respective groups that I'm going to form. All right, so this is the end of this course outline. So in case you want to talk to me, you want to text me, you want to call me direct, you can use these lines on the screen. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next course content slide, which is for mathematics. We'll also look at material science.